Welcome everyone to our first video. Today we are going to teach you one grammar topic. We always hear sentences like Toby ride the bike yesterday. That's an active voice sentence. If we would like to hear the sentence in passive voice, it would sound like this. The bike was rode by Toby yesterday.
Using an active voice sentence, we are telling what a person or thing does. The subject of the sentence does an action on the object. The formula while writing passive voice is subject plus verb plus object. For an example, in our next sentence, Carlos is going to be the subject, paint the verb, and his art homework the object. We will phrase it in the next way. Carlos painted his art homework.
Sophie went to art school last year. Javi worked in his art project. Andrea bought new art supplies last week.
In passive voice, the person or thing acted on comes first, and the action, meaning the person who did the action, is added to the end, introduced by the preposition by. When using passive voice in a sentence, we are telling what it's done by something or someone. We always construct passive voice sentence with an auxiliary verb to be plus the verb in past perfect. So the formula for writing passive voice sentence will be object plus auxiliary verb to be plus verb in past perfect plus by plus subject. For example, in this next sentence, our subject is going to be Carlos, the verb is going to be paint, and his art homework is going to be the object. Using the formula, we will phrase the sentence in passive voice like this. Carlos' art homework was painted by Carlos.
I was being followed by some criminals. The mail is being delivered by the postman. The team is being congratulated by the coach. Was the article written by Nick? The cat is in walk by Ben.
Some people believe that sentence should be written in the active voice whenever possible. This might be because doing so can make your writing more concise, since passive voice requires more words. When improperly written, it can also sound awkward and vague, especially when the subject of the sentence is only implied and not deliberately mentioned.
Even though people believe that writing a sentence in active voice is the easiest and better way, that does not mean that you should avoid writing a sentence in passive voice at all times. Many authors use passive voice to give mystery to the text, and I'm gonna give you some good reasons why you should write some sentence in passive voice. To highlight the action rather than the act. For an example, the Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. We are highlighting the Mona Lisa, not that Leonardo da Vinci painted. Reporting a crime or an incident without knowing the actor. For an example, my art supplies were stolen yesterday. That's a passive voice sentence without the subject. We can add a subject even though we don't know who the subject is. Like this. My art supplies were stolen by someone yesterday. To create an authoritative tone. You know when you want to have that power in you? For an example, no visitors are allowed by me. Meaning that I do not allow visitors in my house or my home. but I have the authority.
Sometimes you might want to change a sentence from passive to active voice, or even from active to passive voice, sometimes to understand better what you're reading. So for this, we're going to use the next formula. First, we're going to move the active sentence object into the subject. Then we're going to place the active sentence's subject into the sentence, beginning with by. And lastly, we're going to add the auxiliary verb to be to the main verb, and then change the main verb into the past form.
Now, when changing a passive voice sentences into an active one, we use exactly the same formula, but reversing everything in the next way. First, move the passive sentence object into the sentence direct object. Then, remove the auxiliary verb be from the main verb and change the form of the verb if it is needed. Finally, place the passive sentence object into the subject without by.
Now, in the comments, we're going to change the next sentence into active voice. And the sentence is, Carlos' paint was showed by an art gallery yesterday.
Well, that's it for today's tutorial. Now we can write passive or active voice sentence in any type of text, and we can also spell the difference between them.
We wish this video will help you in your writing. Have a nice day, and don't forget to leave comments telling us how useful you find this information. Goodbye, and we hope to see you in the next video.